people. Today we're doing the dragon nails that I have been talking about for a while now. I finally got them done. They turned out fairly decent, I think. We're going to start off with this base color of Beetles. Now, at this point, when I did this, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do on all the nails, so I wasn't sure if this base color was going to be showing or how much or if at all. So just to be on the safe side and so I didn't have to do anything later, I'm going to be doing 2 coats of the base color, and that goes on all the nails. This dragon set I had wanted to do since we went to the RenFair last year. And I said, if we're going back again, I'm gonna do some dragon nails. So that is where this came from. It's been a whole year. I've been kind of thinking that this has been in my head, so finally got around to it. Frankly, it wasn't as hard to do as I thought. But we will carry on here, and you'll see how it goes. This set took me about 4.5 hours to do. So there you have that. We're going to cure these here in a second. And boop, here we are, second coat. What else did I want to tell you guys about these? I'm not sure. I'll think of it as we go along. We still don't have our car back. So at this point, I've just canceled my trip out to my parents' house because this is dragging on too long. Needless to say, my mom's probably pissed because I haven't heard from her since I told her that. But that's the way it goes. I mean, I don't have much of a choice. I don't have a vehicle, so unless I'm going to sprout a set of wings overnight here and then I could fly out on my own, I don't see it happening. And anyway, moving on. Also, I'm going to be doing a craft show at the end of April, but more on that at a later date. I don't have I have the info, I just don't have it in a form I can put it up yet, but so that ought to be interesting. Okay, those are going to be cured, and moving on. These are the eyes that I picked out for my dragons. These are how they came. There's all different colors, different types. They came from AliExpress, of course. All I did was search dragon eyes, and then these came up. These are the smallest size they had, which I believe were 6mm. Okay, we're going to start off putting those on with gem glue. Now, while I'm getting these on here, I will tell you, in hindsight, I'm wishing I had done the dragon face like on the side, so I could have put both eyes on one nail, but I didn't. So this is what we got. I didn't think of it till too late. Okay, we're going to use carving gel or sculpting gel, whatever you call it. I got these also on AliExpress. I've had these for probably a good maybe 4 years or so now, maybe. I ended up using almost that whole pot of green, so I don't have a lot of green left after this. Now, since we have to, the eye goes on first, as you've seen me glue them on, because we have to build the face around the eye. And I chose this green because I was going to do, you'll see I have an aquamarine colored pigment that I'm going to use to color it, and some blue. But I chose the green because I thought that as an undercolor that would work good for this. There was a lot of experimenting that went on with this set too, so you may have to bear with me on some of this. All right, I'm trying to get a hold of this. And I've got 2 pieces I've flattened out already. And the more you handle this stuff too, the softer it gets, and then it gets real sticky. So try not to handle it any more than you have to. But I'm going to put this along the bottom of the eye. And we're just going to press it in there. I'm sorry, I'll tell you ahead of time, my nose is kind of runny, so bear with me on that. My allergies have been acting up. Okay, and then I'm just going to use a little alcohol on my brush to manipulate the carving gel. Now taking the second piece, and we're going to put that at the top of the eye. This is the top eyelid. And smush it down like we did with the first one. Now see, he's already got his eye going now. Now at a few times through the course of doing this, I've taken alcohol on my brush and cleaned off the eyeball itself because I didn't want to end up having any kind of residue on there that I didn't notice till it was cured and it was too late. So you want to bear that in mind. Now we need to get some more bits on there. Originally, when I was going to do these, I was planning on using chrome powder to color my dragon. But then I realized I really don't want a shiny looking dragon. So even if I matted it, I don't know. So that's why I went with the pigment instead. It has a little bit of a sheen, but not too much. And I'm using the alcohol to blend my pieces of the carving gel together and smooth the seams out so we don't have a bunch of seams showing. At the same time, I wanted to try and keep these as thin as I could because I didn't want a really huge wad of stuff on there. I'm just going to clean a little of that off where it was hanging over. And here comes another piece across the top. There's probably there might be a better way to do this. I'm not sure. I'm not a sculptor. I was just winging this as I went along. I have never done this kind before, so I mean, I have used the carving gel and I've done a couple of things with it, but not this. So it was a bit of a learning experience for me. It was kind of fun though. It did kind of make me feel like I wanted to get some clay and try sculpting stuff, but no, I can't have too many irons in the fire. I gotta stick to one thing and focus on that, otherwise I will get nothing done. Once that's all blended in, then we'll have to get some more and add some more on there. I'm leaving this section in real time also, so you guys can totally see everything I had to do. Another big chunk going on. This is a bigger piece because I was going to hope to cover the whole rest of the nail with this last piece, but it didn't quite make it. I'm trying to manipulate it as much as I can with my fingers. And surprisingly too, after handling all this carving gel for this whole time it took me to do these, I did not have a breakout on my like fingers, my thumb pads, like I thought I was going to, which was nice. So I think whatever it is I'm allergic to in the gel is something that's in the polish. because it didn't affect me at all. And I'm just working on getting these little bits worked in and my seams melded together. If anybody out there does cake decorating, or you've watched a lot of cake decorating stuff on TV, you know when they use fondant, they have to get their seams to meld together because it looks crappy if you can see all the seams and stuff. I'm also using the brush to kind of work the carving gel down. Obviously it's not moving very well, but I'm trying. I didn't really want to push it down with my finger again at that point because it's got a lot of alcohol's been on there and it's really sticky now. I'm just going to continue trying to work it to the edges. And we're almost there. You could do this same method if you wanted to do dinosaurs. I think that would be kind of cool. Or other reptiles would be kind of interesting. I'm not into that, so I probably wouldn't be doing them unless somebody requested them. Okay, now I'm going to go around the eye and try to make the eyelid kind of curves a little deeper so they're going to stand out a little more. And as you can see, I've been playing around with different tools because, well, just going with what works for me. That's my usual MO. If it works, I'll do it. If it doesn't, I'll keep playing around until I find something that does. Okay. And then I'm going to go back and smooth out some of those really hard lines that I've got going now to a degree. And now I'm taking a little ball and putting it on the one corner. This is going to be part of his nose, and there will be one nostril will be in here when I'm done. We're not looking at his face straight on. We're not looking at it totally from the side either, so it's kind of a half turned thing. At least that was my reasoning for that. And we're just blending that in so we don't see the seam lines where I just attached it. Also, I've got to work this all the way down to that corner. And of course, there's a hair naturally. Okay, and we still got a little on that last corner that doesn't want to move down. Okay, now I'm going to make his nostril. Kind of looks like a horse's head from that, like that. Aside from the fact that it's green. Actually, that would be kind of cool for a horse's head. And you could put some fluffy stuff on there for the mane and work it into there. Anyway, that's another whole thing. Okay, this is a tool that I use for diamond painting. Yes, I do that also. This is the thing you use to pick the diamonds up with. Okay, it's just like a hollow little end on there. So that's what I'm using for my texture. Anything that's got a hollow, curvy little bit like that will work. Like if you could use a straw if you had a really tiny one, or you could take one and cut it and then roll it up tighter so you have smaller circles. But I'm just going to go along this whole thing and press them in to make my pattern. Now occasionally the tool is going to get a little sticky, and it's going to want to start lifting out the carving gel. So if it does, just dunk it in alcohol and then blot it off, and then go back to making your texture. You know, they may have some kind of sculpting tools that would work for this. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not into that, so I don't know all the stuff that goes with that one, the sculpting stuff. And we'll just carry on with this. Some parts of this are a lot thicker than others, so I could get a better, indent. Where some parts are super thin, and you have to be careful because you don't want to start cutting circles out and have it pull out with the tool, because it could. And we're not putting texture on the eyelids or the actual nostril. And almost there. Okay, and let's see. I think we might be just about ready for curing here. Now, if you wanted a green dragon, you could totally just leave them like this and not have to worry about doing any coloring on there. Okay, I'm just trying to smooth my edges off a little. Now, after this is cured, I think, we're almost there for curing. After I cured this, I did not show, but I did go and file my edges a little because there was some kind of rough bits around the edges. I'm going to cure this for 2 minutes, and I have done that, and I've done the other one on my other thumb, and now we're moving on to the tail. Now, I'm going to show you me gluing the gems on that the tail is going to wrap around. But for some, I think I didn't hit record or something happened. I don't know, but I did not get the video of my doing the tails. But it's basically the same thing we just did, except for you're going to make like a cone shape, and then you're going to start at the top of the nail and wrap it around wrap it like halfway around the crystal they're on there, the big crystals. I didn't have two the same, so that's why one of them is an AB and the other one's this purple one that's going to go on the other hand. But just like the eyes, these need to go on first so the tail can wrap around. And I'm going to be curing those any second now. And I have done. Now see, there's the tail. That's what you need to do with the tail. Now I've already colored the tail because I was experimenting with how I was going to do the color. The pigment would not stick to the carving gel as it was. Now if I had thought about it better, I could have added the pigment before I cured the carving gel, and then it would have stuck on there fine. But I didn't think of that at the time. So then I had to figure out how to get my pigment to stick. So I'm going in with a very, very light bit of base coat. Just very lightly, because I did not want the base coat to fill in all the texture and all the stuff that we just did. You can see there at the top of the eye it's filled in more than it should be, but I'm trying to wipe some of it off. But once this is on here, then we're going to cure it. So we're left with the tacky layer. And I believe I've done that now. And we're going to go in starting with this Aquamarine color mica powder pigment. And as I said, if I had thought about it a little more, I would have done this before I cured that carving gel, because I think that would have been a better move. But I'm just going to blot it on there for now just to get the pigment on here. I'm not putting it on the eyelid and I'm not putting it on the nostril. I'm just going to do it on the body part. Now when I start to try and rub this in, you're going to pick up some of that tacky stuff from the base coat, which is going to get on your spongy thing there, their makeup sponge thing. Eyeshadow applicator, that's what I'm trying to say. My brain isn't working today. But I'm just going to work it in here as best as I can, trying to rub it in, push it down in there. It's hard to do with that tacky layer because you can't really rub it in. It just wants to stick to it and then be sticky and gross. Okay, once I get that one all on there, I'm going to switch to, well, okay, here I was trying to clean out the grooves a little bit to get back some of my texture, but it wasn't really working, as you can see. So that was a bust there. That didn't work. And anyways, I'm going to be switching to the blue in a minute here, in a second. Okay, this is the blue I'm using. It's also got a shimmer to it. And this is going on the eyelids. Now, I don't know how well this color is going to hold up and stay on here because I couldn't give it a really good heavy top coat for the same reason, as I didn't want all the texture to get filled in. So probably I'm going to end up having to recolor these at some point before I go to the RenFair. But for now, and also the nostrils getting blue. And as you saw with the tail, I did the bulk of the tail in Aquamarine and then the tip of it in the blue. That was kind of my tester area to see how this was going to go before I put it on the dragon. Just a little bit more of that on there, on the edges. And a little bit along there. Okay, and once I am happy and I've gotten this worked in to a place where I'm satisfied, then I'm going in now with a matte top, and I'm going to do the same thing as I just did. I'm going to there's the two together so you can see the difference now. Now, back to the top coat. I'm going to go in with a very, very light bit of it and coat over those. I don't know that I guess I'm not showing that part, but I did do it. Just ever so lightly on the tail and the head and the head parts. So it will seal that pigment on there. Okay, those are getting a matte top because I'm going to be putting pigment on those to do an ombre, and it will not work very well on a shiny surface. Okay, so we're using the same stuff. You know, I might not have top coated those dragon bits yet. I'm not sure now. But in case I don't show it, they are getting a top coat, just very light top coat with the matte. But this, I'm going to go in with the same pigments and do an ombre on these. And give them a rub with this Aquamarine. And a little bit more rubbing on that one, or not. Okay, now I will go in with the blue on the tips. This part was a little tricky because it didn't want to, I mean, you could get a really decent blend, but then it wanted to keep coming off. This is another option if you can't do an ombre with polish very well. Pigments work really well for doing an ombre. This is not the best example of that. Now I'm just going in and giving him a little bit of a buff to blend it a little bit more. Just very lightly, otherwise you'll wipe it right off. And then a little bit more of the dark. Some fuzz on the end of that one or something. Okay, then we'll get on to the other one. Oh, nope, we're still going to do this one some more. I was trying to get the tips to be a little darker, but not go too much farther up the nail with it. Okay, and I think we're moving on now, hopefully. Okay, this other one. Now, like I said, when I started this set, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with these two nails. The other three I had plans for, but these two I just wasn't sure. Which is why I did the 2 layers of the base color, because I wasn't sure what I was going to end up with on these two. This might be the one that gave me more trouble with the blue, getting the blue to stick on here. Whoopsie. I was using both ends of this makeup thing to do this, so now I've got no blue on the end again. I'm trying to work it in a little so it gets worked into the nail and will hopefully not come off so easily. As you can see, I haven't done anything with the other hand yet other than get the dragon on there. Okay, I'm just brushing off the excess pigment. And now I've taken off, I think, too much blue on that one again. So we're back to adding some more. And then we got to blend again. I'm only touching this on here to blend this back ever so lightly because I don't want to pull it off again. And a little bit of dusting. And it's still lacking some on there. Okay, then I'm going in with what did I put on there? Okay, this is my tempered top coat on here now on this one. Now, the reason and I'm doing this very lightly because I don't want to smear the pigment under there, so I'm just kind of gently putting this on. I tried to do this with matte and it didn't work because what we're going to do now is do a bubble finish on top of these to give it kind of like a scaly look. So what I have is I've just poured a little dish soap in a container of water. In a second you're going to see that. There it is. You can take a straw and blow in it to make the bubbles until you get them and then mix them after you blow them because they'll be really big. Or you can just do this and, stir it up like rapidly until you get enough bubbles. You want those kind of finer bubbles. You don't want those really big ones. Now here I should have done one nail at a time. It would have been more successful. But you're just going to lay those bubbles on there and get the whole area covered. And this is where I went wrong, because trying to cover 2 nails and have it stay on there did not go well. So if you guys do this, do 1 nail at a time. Because if you get it on there, and don't bump your nail with that, like I'm using that cuticle pusher. If you bump that against your nail, you'll scrape that pigment off. Because I did do that in a couple places I had to fix. But once we get this on here and the full nail is covered, you're going to go right into your lamp and cure that normal amount for your top coat, which in my case is I cure it for 1 minute. So now I got to go back and get some more on this one because it went off. So now they've been cured for their minute. I'm just going to blot this off with a tissue. And now you see we have that bubble, like scaly looking finish. Ta-da! You can see, like near the tips of the nail, there's some places where the bubbles did not get on there very well. But that's what we have. Okay. So I will do that on the other hand, and then we're ready. Okay, now I'm going in with the matte top. I'm not going to be topping those ones we just did with the bubble finish because that was top coat we used to do that, so you don't need to put any more on top. If you do, you'll just end up filling those little bubbles in and then you won't see your texture. So don't top coat over that if you don't have to. But now, like I said before, this is where I went in now with the matte. And I'm giving it a very light coat of this matte top over it because I didn't want to fill in the texture too much. This is why I'm not 100% sure that the color is going to stay on very well, and why I'm thinking that I'm going to need to recolor these before I do go to the RenFair. And same thing with the tail. There you can see how I've wrapped the tail around the crystal that's on there. Okay, once I get the tail done, I'm going to matte that nail all around where the base color is, because I'm going to be gluing crystals onto it and they'll stick better onto that. Now, why I didn't put matte on my pinky nail, I don't know. I just went straight in with crystals on that one. That we're going to be using these purple ones. There's some kind of aquamarine color ones. There's some of these guys. These teeny tiny little AB clear ones. Some are these not flat back ones. Now along the way there's a couple other colors that I'm going to pull out that I'll show you as I go, because I decided I needed more variety. And with this finger here, I'm leaving it in real time so you can see what I'm doing with the crystals. But when we get to the pinky, I'm going to speed it up, so it's going to be basically the same, and you don't want to sit through a whole big giant long thing again. I tried to keep this as short as possible, you guys, but like I said, it did take me a good while for these. Okay, that one I'm just going to lay in there in that little crevice. And I'm going to get some littler ones on here. Once I get that area in there between where I've got the glue, once I get that all filled in, I'll go ahead and give them a cure, just to get those set, because I don't want those big ones that are not flat to be moving around and fall off. But I'm just randomly sticking these things in here. Now I will take some of these little teeny tiny guys and shove them up underneath that yellow one, just to give it a little bit more stability and fill in that gap under there. Now, once I get done with these and all the crystals that are going to be on here, these are the most crystals I've ever had on my nails at one time. So it's taking a lot of getting used to for me, because I'm not used to this many on there, and some of these are sticking up by, like, they have big edges sticking up. So I fully expect to be getting them caught on something and pulling them off. So far, so good. I haven't had to replace any yet, but it's only been like maybe, I think, 3 days now since I did them until now when I'm recording this. And those little teeny tiny guys are hard to deal with because they don't want to stick on the end of here, and I don't want to put anything on there to make it sticky because then they won't be shiny. Plus there was a stupid hair on the end of my picker-upper, along with the fact that it needs to be, I need to do something with the end of that and reshape it because I don't have a pointy end anymore. I think part of the problem is there may not be enough glue under there too. And we're going to throw some more glue in there. And now we'll try to stick that guy back down. I wanted the gem hoard that the dragon is guarding to be full of all different kinds of crystals, so that's why I've just kind of got a variety of stuff. Now I kind of kept the color palette similar because I didn't want to go in with any just off the wall, like I didn't want red and I didn't want, you know, stuff like that was going to really be kind of clashing. But I certainly have. Okay, now I'm going to clean the glue off that I've slopped all over the side of my finger. I think well, are we ready? No, we're not ready yet. Right along that inside edge of the tail, where it's along the big crystal, I'm going to put a couple in there just to fill that in a little bit. And we're looking for something here. Okay. And one of these little baby ones in there. Okay, now I have cured those on there to start, just so they aren't moving around. And then I have glued the rest of this nail, and then we're going to carry on and load this guy up with the rest of these crystals. I was already tired of those same colors at that point, so now we're going to add these guys in, which is an AB kind of bluish kind of, it has kind of a bluish kind of sort of a goldy color to it in the right light. There's one that came out of there. There's also some purple ones that have a goldy kind of changing color thing to them. And we're just going to stick these all on here, different sizes, different colors. Of course, they have to cooperate first to get on there. Whoopsie. And now these little tiny baby ones I'm using to stick in just little holes that are there, or a little around the edges. Nope, too big. Too big. Get a littler one. Alright. And in we go with those. See how flat these little ones are? It's hard to get a grip on them. And sometimes you think you've got it going the right way, and then it gets on there upside down, and then we can't have that. Alright, now we're going to get everybody lined up where we want them, straightened out. Get a few more of those little tiny ones. Shove one or two in there. Okay, straighten everybody out again. Oh, we got a gap over there now. A little more glue. I have almost actually used up that whole pot of gem glue. Luckily, I have another one ready, but because when I bought those, they came 2 in a pack, which was nice. It's lasted me quite a long time considering the amount of gems and stuff I'm usually gluing onto things. Alright, that guy was trying to escape. Once I'm happy with this, it's going to cure, and it did. It went into cure. Now, this is the pinky now. Now, I forgot to hit record when I was doing the big crystal stuff in the center, but you can see there what I did. I put those on together in one group and then cured them. And now I am going in with glue on the rest of this nail, and then we're just going to fill it all in like we did on the other one. At some point here, this is going to kick into double time. So you should go faster. I'm thinking if I did these again, and surprisingly I didn't do it this time, but I would do a purple dragon. Maybe purple and blue. Okay, though that's another color now I'm adding in because I got tired of the other ones just with those, so I went with that kind of peacock blue now also. So there won't be any of those on that first finger I did, but for the rest of them I will be adding those in as I go. And we're back to these tiny little dudes again that don't want to stay. I will say though, I got these for free with something I ordered, and I have been using quite a lot of them, especially on this set. Every place I could fill in with those I did. Yeah, we just have the tip left to go. And maybe another little teeny tiny guy over here. That other big, that like marquee cut one is laying there still on my mat because that's going on the other pinky. I can't believe that with 2 of those that I failed to hit record on both of them. Of course, by the time I was at this point of putting the crystals on, I had already been in there for a good 4 hours, and I was starting to get a little punchy there. I needed to get done and get out. My back was starting to really not be happy. I have yet to wash my hair yet with this set on too, so that's probably going to be a nightmare. That my hair is going to probably get caught up all around in those gems that are sticking up and laying on their side and whatnot. But we'll see. Just a minor inconvenience for having nice nails. And we got a tiny little spot left to go. The rest of these I will do off camera so you don't have to sit through it again. Oh, I see one little tiny spot left there. One more. Oh, nope, I guess there's 2 more. 2 more. Okay, and I cured that. And here we go for the final shot. There's the 2 faces together. If you put them together, they kind of sort of make a whole face. Of course, I can't do it from that way because the nostrils are not going to be in the right spot now. And there's the rest of them. I did put some crystals on those bubble nails in the places where the bubbles did not go all the way to the edges, and they left like a flat, shiny area. I filled those in with some crystals and covered that up. And there you have it. If you like this set, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a like. And if you want to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate you guys watching my tutorials. And any feedback is greatly appreciated also. I believe the next one I'm going to do is going to be a set for 420. So you want to stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. See you next time.